Welcome to Boost Your Business English, the podcast from the Boost Your Business English podcast company. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Alex. Thank you so much for clicking on this episode and spending some time with us today.
We really appreciate it. So, Alex, I want you to picture a scene. You're in a business meeting. Your boss turns to you and asks for your opinion on a new project. You know the answer, and in your native language, you could explain it perfectly.
Okay, I'm with you.
But in English, you freeze. Your brain starts searching for words, building the sentence, translating it piece by piece, and by the time you're ready to speak, the conversation has moved on. Sound familiar?
Painfully familiar. I think every single English learner has felt that exact moment. That freeze is one of the biggest walls you hit on the journey to fluency. And today, we're going to talk about why it happens and, more importantly, how to break through it.
Exactly. And the secret isn't learning more vocabulary or memorizing more grammar rules. The secret is to change how your brain processes English. It's about learning to think in English.
So let's start with a little bit of simple science. Chloe, what's actually happening in our brains when we do that translation thing?
It's all about connections. When you learned your first language as a child, your brain made a direct link between a word and a meaning. You hear the word dog, and you instantly picture a furry, four-legged animal. Word connects directly to idea.
Right, no middle step.
But when most of us learn a second language, we learn through translation. So the English word dog connects to the word for dog in our native language, which then connects to the picture in our head. There's an extra step.
And that extra step is the translation. That's the freeze. It's like your brain is taking a detour instead of a direct highway. Our goal today is to give you 6 techniques to help you build that direct highway, to remove that middle step, so English words connect straight to their meaning.
It's about retraining your brain. So let's get practical. Technique number 1. Think in single words first.
This is so important. Many learners try to form perfect, full sentences in their head right away. It's too much pressure.
It is. Start smaller, just like a child does. When you see your coffee cup on your desk, just think the word coffee. When you walk outside and feel the wind, think cold. When you're sitting in a long meeting, think tired or bored.
Just one word.
One word directly connected to what you are seeing, feeling, or doing. No translation. So here's a practical exercise. For the rest of today, just label things in your head in English as you see them. Chair, laptop, window, traffic. You're building hundreds of tiny, direct connections.
I love that. Okay, technique number 2 builds on that. It's describe your day in English as it happens. This is like creating a quiet internal monologue.
Right, a running commentary inside your head.
Exactly. As you're making your breakfast, you think, I'm making coffee. The water is hot. I need milk. When you're driving to work, that car is fast. The light is red. Short sentences, even fragments, are perfect. Mistakes do not matter. The goal is simply to keep a constant, low-pressure stream of English flowing in your mind.
And a great exercise for this is to set a timer for just 10 minutes every morning. For those 10 minutes, narrate everything you are doing in English. If you can, do it out loud. If not, just in your head. Don't stop. Don't correct yourself. Just keep talking.
That continuous flow is what retrains the brain, which brings us to technique 3. Replace your internal voice.
This is a big one. We all have that voice in our head that thinks, plans, worries, and wonders. For most learners, that voice speaks their native language. The goal is to slowly, piece by piece, get that voice to start speaking English.
You don't have to do it all at once. Start with small things. Count in English when you're climbing stairs. Read street signs in English. Think of your shopping list in English. The more your internal voice operates in English, the more natural it will feel to speak it.
A powerful exercise here is to simply notice. Every time you catch yourself thinking in your own language about a simple plan or a task, just pause. Then repeat that thought in English. Not a perfect translation, just the English version of the idea.
These are such powerful, practical tips. And we've actually compiled all 6 of today's techniques, plus the exercises and role plays, into a single, easy-to-read PDF for you. It's called the Free Essential Business English Guide, and you can download it using the link in the description below. It's a fantastic resource to keep with you.
It really is. And while you're down there, if you're finding this episode helpful, please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast. It helps us a lot, and it means you won't miss our future lessons.
Okay, technique number 4. Use an English to English dictionary.
Oh, this is a game changer. Most learners use bilingual dictionaries. They look up an English word and they get the translation in their own language. This just makes the translation pathway in your brain stronger.
Exactly. You need to break that habit. Switch to a good English-only learner's dictionary, like the Merriam-Webster Learner's Dictionary or the Oxford Learner's Dictionaries. When you find a new word, like frustrated, you don't learn its translation. You learn its meaning in English.
Right, so you read the definition, feeling annoyed or less confident because you cannot achieve what you want. That definition builds the direct connection in your brain between the word and the feeling.
So the exercise is this. For 1 week, when you look up a new word, force yourself to read the English definition 3 times before you even look at the translation. Even better, try not to look at the translation at all.
Excellent. Okay, technique number 5 is one of our favorites. Shadowing and imitation.
It's so powerful. Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and you repeat what they say almost at the same time, just slightly behind them. You try to match their rhythm, their intonation, their speed.
What this does is it forces your brain to process and produce English at natural speed. There's literally no time to stop and translate. Over time, this builds automatic physical habits for speaking English. You start to produce natural phrases without even thinking about them.
For your practical exercise, find a short audio clip. It could be from a podcast, a YouTube video, a TV show, anything. And just shadow it for 5 minutes every day. Don't worry about understanding every word. Just focus on the music of the language. Sound like them.
Which brings us to our final technique, number 6, embrace the pause.
This one is about what to do in that moment of panic. When someone asks you a question and you need a moment to think, the instinct is to panic and start translating.
Right. You go silent, but in your head, you've switched back to your native language. You have to resist that. Instead, use the pause productively in English. Use phrases like, "Let me think about that," or "That's a good question." These are filler phrases that buy you time while keeping your brain in English mode.
This is critical. The moment you switch back to your language in your head, you reactivate the translation pathway and the freeze gets worse. Stay in English, even if it's just with a simple phrase. That transition from translating to just thinking in English, even simply, is everything. And this leads to a really important point.
Okay, in this first scenario, I'm going to ask Alex a question, and he's going to fall into the translation trap. Ready, Alex?
Ready.
So, Alex, what do you think is the biggest challenge for our team in the next quarter?
The biggest challenge is the new software integration. It is difficult.
Okay, let's pause there. See what happened? The long silences, the pained expression. Alex's brain was working so hard to translate a complex idea from his native language into a perfect English sentence. It sounded slow and awkward.
It felt awful. Now let's try that again. Same question, but this time I'll use the techniques. I'll use a pause phrase and I'll start with simple words.
Okay, take 2. Alex, what do you think is the biggest challenge for our team in the next quarter?
That's a really good point. Let me think for a second. Off the top of my head, I think the new software integration will be tough. It's a big change for everyone. We'll need more training.
See the difference? It wasn't perfect. Maybe he made a small grammar mistake, but it didn't matter. It flowed. He used, "That's a really good point," to buy time. He started with a simple idea, the new software, and then added more detail. It felt like a natural conversation.
It felt a million times better. That transition from translating to just thinking in English, even simply, is everything. And this leads to a really important point.
The turning point.
Thinking in English is not a special talent that some people have and others don't. It is a skill. And like any skill, from playing the guitar to learning to code, it is built through deliberate, repeated practice.
That is so important to hear. There is nothing wrong with you if you're stuck translating. The learners who think in English aren't smarter, they just practiced differently. And you can start that new practice today.
To help you with that, we're going to do a quick drill. This is our hear it, repeat it, use it section. We're going to give you 5 of those key pause phrases. I'll say each one, leave a space for you to repeat it out loud, and then Chloe will say it again. Let's go. Let me think about that for a second.
Let me think about that for a second.
That's a really good point.
That's a really good point.
Not sure exactly, but I think...
I'm not sure exactly, but I think.
Number 4. Off the top of my head...
Off the top of my head.
And number 5. Give me a moment and I'll explain.
Give me a moment and I'll explain.
Great job. Memorize those phrases and use them. They're your best friends in a conversation.
Which brings us to the big finish. The most important idea we want you to leave with today is this. You don't need to think in perfect, beautiful, grammatically correct English. You just need to think in English.
That's it.
Fragments are fine. Single words are fine. Half-finished sentences are fine. The moment your brain starts automatically reaching for an English word instead of a word in your own language, even for just 1 second, that's the moment it all starts to change. And that moment can start right now.
So here is your final practice exercise. A very simple one. Tonight, before you go to sleep, take 2 minutes and just think about your day in English. Not perfectly, just whatever comes to your mind. 3 things that happened, 2 things you felt, 1 thing you are looking forward to tomorrow. In simple English. That's the exercise.
It's a wonderful way to end your day and build that habit. And that leads us to our question for the comments. Do you ever catch yourself thinking in English, even for just a moment? When does it happen for you? Let us know in the comments section. We love reading your stories.
And if you want to continue boosting your skills, we have a whole library of other episodes on topics from presentation skills to writing professional emails. Feel free to explore the channel. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe so you can join us for our next lesson.
Thank you again for joining us. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Alex. Keep practicing, and we'll see you next time on Boost Your Business English.